A massive thank you to Zach, Simon, Sarah, Lando Norris fan and Octave for subscribing to the channel. If you're already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 2 of season 7 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, of course, if you missed out on the season opener that went live from Bahrain over the weekend, I would highly recommend going back and checking out a 100% race around the Capure International Circuit. Was certainly one to remember and what an interesting way to kickstart this final season here of this series. But today though we head back to Shanghai, a track that's delivered some interesting results over the couple of seasons we've raced here on F1 2021. But yeah, just continuing on with the forward progress at the moment though, so we'll have to wait and see as to how we get on there. As always though, a massive thank you to all of you guys that have helped us get even closer to 24,000 subscribers. 24,000? 44,000 subscribers. There, we're a little bit past 24k at the moment. Of course, if you're not already though, please do leave a like and get yourself subscribed for daily Formula 1 content as well. But yeah, today though, championship-wise, of course, we lead the way after a flawless weekend for 2-2 Motorsport there. Myself and our new teammate Max Verstappen picking up the 1-2 there in at the end, and now 17 points clear in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull, however, are looking mighty fast still, so we'll have to wait and see how well they got on over the next couple of race weekends there. George Russell and Sergio Perez are certainly a very feisty lineup, but we've just got to keep our head down, focus, and see what we can do here in Shanghai.
Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like.
Right, well here we are then, back in Shanghai once again then, and a very difficult track still for me trying to adapt to. I never got on well with Shanghai anyway, back when it was on the real calendar, and I still can't now apparently. Only the green score. Always, I think the problem with Shanghai, of course, is the same sort of thing we had with Zandvoort and Austria on F1 2021. Unfortunately, a lot of the AI data is still based on F1 2020, where of course the cars had a lot more downforce, so through like the S's and things like that, you just can't gain anything over the AI, you know. I pretty much nailed it there and I still lost about 3/10. We gain a lot down the straights, of course, because the car isn't as draggy, but yeah, you just can't quite get close enough to the qualifying simulation run there. About 4/10 away though, isn't too bad. That being said, second attempt then, heading out onto the back straight. We're not going to be that far away from the practice goal this time around, as we gain a lot of time down the back straight there, braking at the 100-metre board in towards the hairpin. How close are we going to be actually at the end of this lap? Really got to try and nail the final corner. Don't think we're quite going to get the goal, but we are going to be very close indeed there. Less than a 10th away in the end. That's not bad.
Come in and take a look at the data, and if we have time, we'll rerun the program.
Team reckon, therefore, we're going to be 11th at the end of qualifying, which I'm not sure, I believe. Anyway, let's get into qualifying then. Meant to be weather dependent, though, here in Shanghai. Right, well here we are then, qualifying day at a surprisingly sunny Shanghai. I was honestly expecting the weather to come in, but looks like it's held back for qualifying here today. I really thought, honestly, it might give us a lifeline to try and bolster ourselves up the order, but as we head out of the final corner then, about to start our first qualifying run in Q2, 27s is the goal here. That's what we're going to need if we want any chance of making it through into Q3. But yeah, we've really just got to try and hit our lines here. A little bit of understeer through the... Well, I always think it's quite a fun corner, actually, turn 1 and turn 2 here, or however many corners that little snail section is. I've always quite enjoyed that one. The other one, though, I can't stand. Very weird, Shanghai, but yeah, anyway. Let's try and get a good representative on the board, see if we can try and get this thing, you know, down into the 27s, or at least a low 28 for our first run there, as George Russell immediately sets the pace in his Red Bull of a 27.2. That thing always works super well around this track. Shanghai just suits Red Bull's car philosophy, always has done, and probably always will in this series. Approaching speeds towards 220 miles an hour though, as you head down this back straight and then you hit the anchors at the 100 metre board. They're trying to get the car turned in at the curb and then roll on the throttle on the exit as you head now in towards the final corner. Down 3 gears at the 50 metre board. They're trying to get the best run at the final turn. That's going to be a 28.5 there, so a little way off what I wanted, but we've certainly got enough pace in the car to at least get close. Of course, we didn't make it into Q3 last time round in Bahrain there after a mistake on our final run. Do not want to start making a habit out of that. But anyway, let's try and get ready then for our final lap here qualifying in Q2. Currently sat just in the drop zone in P12, but we only need a couple of tenths at the moment to try and see us through there. But a lot of cars going out for second runs, so I think we're going to see a lot of pace development in this final part of Q2. They're really trying to chuck it in to turn 1 there, but don't want to carry too much speed in so you can actually get the car towards the apex. Horrible little camber change through turn 2. And then really got to modulate the throttle on the exit. They can't really get on full throttle until you're up into 5th gear there. This thing's just got that much torque underneath it there. Down towards the hairpin. Try and get the best run. All right, a little bit wide over the curb in off the corner. I think this snail section is going to be where we're going to have to try and gain the time there as all we tack a lot of curb on the way in. That might compromise our run on the exit. We're still a couple of tenths up at the moment, but look at that, the time just slowly finding a little bit more as we head out onto the back straightaway here. Charles Leclerc currently down on a 28.2. He is out of qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix, but how much more can we find in the final few corners of the lap? Braking super late down in towards the hairpin there, but now we've got to try and get on the throttle on the exit, finding a little bit more. One more corner to go then here from qualifying. Really attack the curbs on the exit. We are going to find a little bit more. It's P10. That's what we love to see. We only just squeeze through, and squeezing through by the slimmest of margins there. However, Perez and Yuki Tsunoda both picking up 5-place grid penalties, so no idea what they've done in Q2 there. They've had a collision with each other and both been deemed at fault for it, so not sure how that one's gone down. However, yeah, just making it through 18 thousandths ahead of Esteban Ocon in his Aston Martin there. And look at that, Giovinazzi again making it into Q3. But we now need to try and see how close we can qualify to Perez and Tsunoda there, because we could get an extra couple of places here at the end of qualifying. Half a second, though, away from our teammate Max Verstappen. Q3 is going to be difficult. Q3 is, of course, going to be even more difficult when we've used, well, pretty much every set of tyres we've got. Got that one fresh set of softs for this final run there. So we're going to have to do our first lap, which immediately isn't a particularly brilliant way to start it, on an old worn set of the soft compound tyres there, and then just go for one last ditch attempt on the fresh rubber, but immediately haven't quite got the same turn in through the first corner there. This car, yeah, well, I mean, Shanghai just chews through soft tyres there. You really don't want to use them in a race. However, every car inside the top 10 is going to have to here. This is the problem. I say problem, it makes it more interesting and more exciting with so many cars so tightly bunched there. No one this year is going to be able to make it through into Q2 on a set of mediums unless we see some changeable weather conditions there, as George Russell again setting the pace on a 27.4 there. He's now starting to get more comfortable with that Red Bull, and he could be a real championship threat come the end of this year. But yeah, everyone though having to qualify on softs means tracks like this, things get interesting, as yeah, this lap is not going to be one to write home about. A big wobble out of the final corner as well. This is probably not even going to be a 28. It is just a 28.8 there, 8 tenths away from Yuki Tsunoda. So yeah, this second run we're going to need to try and find close to a second here. And it's our last ditch attempt there as Verstappen goes P2. Right, well, everyone else coming towards the end of their final Q3 runs. However, we're just about to start ours, so fingers crossed Verstappen and Bottas do get out the way. Around in the final corner, though, yeah, we need to find about a second over our previous lap there as Verstappen sets a 26.8. Where has that come from our Dutch teammate there? That is a phenomenal lap time here at Shanghai, but back down through turn 1. I think we're probably going to have to really concentrate on this lap there. Qualifying is now over, so we'll have to wait and see as to how the pace transforms. But of course, yeah, with those two 5-place grid penalties for Perez and Tsunoda, this could give us a real chance to leapfrog our way into a bit of a higher position than we probably deserve here in qualifying. But so far, finding a little bit of pace. Of course, it was really the second half of the lap where the tyres started to go off there. Don't want to clip that inside curb. Can immediately spit the car around. But so far, finding a little bit more pace as the lap unfolds.
Max is sitting in pole. He's in pole position.
And Max Verstappen is going to have pole position here unless I suddenly found way more time than ever before there. Bit of a mistake though on the exit of the snail section, and that might put pay to our qualifying session here from Shanghai. We're going to be able to find a little bit more out towards the final few corners, but we should be ahead of Tsunoda. He's down in P6 there. But I think, yeah, unless we get a miracle run through the final couple of turns, Giovinazzi with that error is just going to be too far ahead to be able to try and leapfrog here as we head through the final corner, trying to avoid the curb too badly. Half a second up towards the final turn we go. That was probably the best line I'm going to get through there all weekend. It's a pretty decent lap at the end, and we do go ahead of Gio. We could have easily had a 27 there had I not messed up the second snail.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Verstappen, Russell and Sergio Perez. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Well, there we go then. Qualifying done and dusted here from Shanghai. And yeah, I think realistically, we might just have been able to get Valtteri Bottas there, but that could have pushed us ahead of Sergio Perez as well. So we could have been 6th place on the grid here. But Verstappen, that lap came out of nowhere at the end of qualifying. But him versus George Russell today is going to get spicy. Let's move in then here to the Chinese Grand Prix.
This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
It's time again then for Formula 1 in Shanghai. Northwest of this thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. And of course played host to Formula 1's 1000th World Championship event in 2019. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1 and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Can I get your take on Haas? We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Sainz, Lance Stroll and Bottas. Perez, they've taken a grid penalty. Mr. Monaco, Giovinazzi and Esteban Ocon. Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc and Aitken. Joe, Lundgaard, Nicholas Latifi and Callum Ilott. Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, Schwartzman and Luca Giotto. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
I think good points is probably a fair aim for today's race here in Shanghai. But here we are then on the grid, ready once more here. Round 2 of 23 of the campaign. And look at that. The team reckon those soft tyres can do 5 laps. That is all that they think is going to be doable on this set of tyres. To be honest, I'm not even sure they'll go that far, but we'll try and hang on to them as best as possible. Then we'll do 2 cents on the mediums to see us through to the checkered flag. But beautiful sunny skies here from China for round 2 of the campaign. We've got Perez just alongside us, so fingers crossed we can try and get ahead of him down at turn 1 and then try and keep him at bay later on in the afternoon. But ready then on the grid here in Shanghai, round 2 of the Season 5 red lights. Very long hold, but it is lights out and away we go, and I don't think we're going to get any chance of trying to hold Perez at bay there as Giovinazzi immediately flies around the outside in towards turn 1 there. Oh, Gio and Bottas get a little bit close for comfort, and you know what, we'll say thank you very much. We'll sneak up the inside of the pair of them there, so we have actually gained a place off the start then here in Bahrain, in Shanghai even. Yeah, Valtteri Bottas loses the 1 there. Perez making some gains as well. As oh, a little bit of a lock-up at the rear there, but Sergio? Is Perez's car okay? No idea how we've just done that around the outside there. I thought maybe those yellow flags were for Perez there early on. Perhaps he was already having his second mechanical failure of the year, but a good little start then in the end, trying to get the elbows out a little bit more when you start a bit further down the order, but that's exactly what we needed then. Up 2 places here at the start of the race is Max Verstappen going to try and lead away from the front there, but George Russell, Lando Norris, Lance Stroll and Carlos Sainz there, 5 cars from 5 different teams inside the top 5, and you guys don't believe F1 2021 has reached a state of parity. I don't know what proves it more than that. But Sergio Perez now all over the back of me as we head down the back straight. Checo's going to try and look back up the inside, and he looks like he might just be able to make that one work. We'll try and hook it up around the outside there. Big snap of oversteer on the exit, and I think Perez had a bit of a moment as well there, because he just didn't seem to get the power down out of the final corner. Max Verstappen, though, leads the way at the end of lap 1, and I think we need to try and hang on ahead of Sergio, at least until the pit window. Oh, here comes Perez again then at the end of lap 2. Is Sergio this time around going to be able to make the move? Perhaps he's going to be a bit more forceful with it. Again, oh, we accidentally popped it in neutral. That might make the move a little bit easier for Sergio, and yes it has. Perez up the inside.
That's us down the place.
So immediately after I say we need to try and hang on in front of him, we immediately can't there as Russell trying to lean on our teammate Max Verstappen.
You'll be on the hards.
No, we're not, Jeff. We're definitely going on to mediums at the pit window. But yeah, Sergio Perez gets back past us then. Not a lot we could do in the end on that one. That Red Bull, mighty fast down the straights, but we're having to run so much aero to try and stick with these guys through the twisty bits. We just cannot seem to get the drive out onto the back straight here, and Valtteri Bottas in his McLaren certainly will be able to there, as he's going to fly down the inside in towards the final hairpin. Oh, a lot of movement there from Bottas as we wanted to try and fight back there, but had to concede the position in the end. And yeah, we are just sinking places like a stone early on here, as that is not the line out of the final corner. That's going to be a warning as Perez immediately goes purple.
Running out of fuel before the end of the race. Start being a little conservative with the remaining fuel, please.
I don't think we are, Jeff. However, I wonder if we're going to be able to stick a bit closer to Bottas, because of course that McLaren isn't quite as rapid as the Red Bull. And through that second snail section there, we lost 4 tenths to Bottas. We even had the DRS on him to begin with there, but now Giovinazzi going to try and have a look to the inside. Go super late though on the brakes, try and get the car slowed down into the hairpin. And Giovinazzi just makes contact with us.
Try not to make it any worse. The safety car is out. We need you to reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Not sure how I feel about that one. I think we had a little bit of a snap oversteer there, but Giovinazzi definitely made contact with our rear end and tipped us around on the exit of the corner there, but it has given us a bit of a lifeline. We are going to pit in and box therefore at the end of lap 4 onto the set of the medium compound tyres. But yeah, it's going to cause a bit of chaos for all of the guys up the front. Come on, let's go team. But I mean, we're not even going to be able to gain much off this.
Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Because of course, we're still going to have a delta.
Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
I've got no idea where now we're going to re-emerge in this Grand Prix, but not the start we needed. But then it's going to create a bit of an interesting strategy decision in this Grand Prix.
The side pods have taken damage. You may start to pick up a little drag.
That's not helpful. Turns out we did pick up a little bit of side pod damage as well then in that incident with Antonio Giovinazzi, but yeah, we're gonna, well, we haven't seen many cars into the pits there, so I think we're gonna see some interesting strategy as the afternoon goes on. And it does now mean, yeah, all of us that we're gonna have to two-stop. I think everyone outside the top 10 was probably gonna try and one-stop this, so we probably haven't been given a bit of a lifeline over cars that might have been able to overcut us in the Grand Prix, but yeah, it just now means we've got a lot of us that are going to have to try and fight our way back through. Whoa! Safety car in the end of this lap then. That's been called super late. We've got both McLarens heading pretty much in towards the final corner there, and the safety car suddenly decided, actually, you know what, I'm done. Into the pits they go, though.
In this lap, safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember, there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Jeff, bless him, still trying to give us a safety car speech, and it's already green flag racing. Once more then, here from Shanghai. Like I said, we've got a load of us now, pretty much Max Verstappen down. All of us started on a set of these soft compound tyres, so we've all boxed in, and we're now all going to be trying to move our way past this gaggle of cars up the road. We're going to have to try and take risks here. We need to gain places, as immediately I say that. We'll go back up the inside of Sergio Perez. They're trying not to make contact with Carluccio as we try and get a run up the hill. Oh, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel. What is Perez doing? Come on, man, you've got to give me some room on the exit of the corner. There is now Antonio Giovinazzi tries to make another move work here early on in the Grand Prix. Sergio Perez, I don't know what we've done to upset him. Clearly not happy with what happened last weekend there, and Perez, yeah, trying to be uber aggressive. That's all. We've got Haskell's now getting in the way there. Max Verstappen's made the move work. George Russell is going to try and also look past Luca Giotto. But I think the Haskell's have actually started on a set of hard compound tyres, so they're going to cause a bit of a roadblock here, as we've still got McLaren's 1 and 2 off the restart. How much longer are they going to go before they have to pit? Is again Giovinazzi going to try and look to the inside, 3 wide as we head down the back straight. What is happening early on here in Shanghai? Giovinazzi's going to now make the move work on Sergio Perez there. That was a brave and opportunistic move from the Italian. Are we going to be able to get back to the inside? No, we're not. And now we're in last place then of this race, but hopefully not for very long there, as we get a nice run out of the final corner.
Ahead is 2.6 seconds.
More cars into the pits though, so yeah, I'm completely clueless as to what is going on here in the Chinese Grand Prix. We are going to slot back up the inside of Gio. Come on, man. I'm quite clearly there wheel to wheel with you, and he still wanted to turn in. But things are just getting a little bit insane early on then here from Shanghai. We've still got Giotto leaking places like a sieve. And we'll go back up the inside of Perez again there. And I think, oh, this time round, come on, we can't let the same thing happen again. That time round, even more wheel-to-wheel contact. But Sergio just about slots the car in front once more there. And it is all kicking off early on here. But we need to try and get past Luca Giotto, ideally, before Sergio does. There we go, Sainz to the outside of the Haas, but Luca Giotto trying to defend in just his second ever Formula 1 race. Giovinazzi tried to have a look up the inside of me. We, however, thanks Sergio, again, we launched it off the corner there and been able to get to the inside of another car, but through the snail section, they just like to turn in on you, as Sainz now making the move on the Italian. Are we going to be able to follow him past down the back straight? We'll try and get right over Sainz's gearbox. But no, Giovinazzi hangs on for now. What is happening early on here in the Chinese Grand Prix, as that is not the line out of the final corner. Lucky not to get a warning that time around, but we certainly didn't gain anything.
DRS is now enabled.
Everything is happening early on here in Shanghai, as now up the inside of Giotto we go. But look at this, just everyone now is caught up behind the next couple of cars, apart from Verstappen. He seems to be making better progress. Russell now trying to make a move as we head down the back straight there, but we almost go into the back of Carlos Sainz, so we're going to pull out right at the very last second there and make the move work on the Italian. But now Lance Stroll going to try and be looking to make a move on the Schwartzman. So we've now got an Aston Martin in the lead ahead of Charles Leclerc's Ferrari, so no idea what we're meant to sort of do in this race. Is Stroll going to be able to make a move? No, he's not. There is, look at that, Schwartzman struggling as well, of course, on his hard tyres. So we're going to say thank you very much and get right around the outside of the Canadian there, and rather aggressively slam the door shut. I'm pretty certain, yeah, he must have had his face caught in that one, because even Sykes has been able to make the move work. Attack now on Robert Schwartzman. We do not want to get stuck behind a Haas car, and we will not. Big Daniel Ricciardo style send there at the bottom of the hill. But we do now re-inherit P13. Oh, here we go, even more moves as we head down the back straight there. Lando Norris now trying to pull off a move on young Mick Schumacher in his new Aston Martin gig. We, however, are now trying to think where we might be able to make a move work on Verstappen. On George Russell even, sorry. I should say there, as our teammate Verstappen goes around the outside of Callum Ilott. But look at this. There's just cars still absolutely everywhere. 3 wide as they head back down towards turn 1 there, and 2 wide right behind him as Lando Norris tries to make the move work. Callum Ilott, nothing he can do there, but back out we now. Make a little bit of contact with Mick Schumacher. I mean, this is just touring car racing at the moment. This is just ridiculous here in the first half of the Chinese Grand Prix. We're only 11 laps in, and so much has already gone down here up the inside of Callum Ilott, though, in the Williams. And look at that now. I think we're in net P4 of the Grand Prix, and Verstappen, who I think still is our net leader, is not far away. All this backing up has certainly helped us out. Verstappen now trying to pull off a move on Nicholas Latifi as we head out through the second snail section. I'm sure, yeah, Lando Norris, George Russell and myself are not going to be far behind him there as we all try and get the best run possible out onto the back straight. Here comes Lando Norris, here comes George Russell as well, though, as we head down the back straight. 3 wide once again here. How often have we said that so far today? And who's going to be able to come out on top in this one? A little bit of a lock-up from Latifi there. And George Russell's going to get caught out behind his former teammate. Oh, sorry, George Russell. I was not planning on trying to swipe across you there, mate. I thought we got clean past him. Almost took myself and the Red Bull out of the Grand Prix. We do make the move work still on George Russell as we head back down towards turn 1 now. Got to try and keep the car close to the apex and sail at the inside of Nicholas Latifi there. Up to P9 now of the Grand Prix. So Verstappen tried to make a move work on Nikita Mazepin. What is going to happen now as we head out onto the back straight? Oh, that's not what I had in mind. Big wobble off the exit of the corner there, but we keep our foot in and pick up our second warning of the day. So we're going to have to be careful. One more of those, and it is going to be a 3-second time penalty here in Shanghai. Is all Norris broke earlier than I was expecting there. A lot of concertina and up down at the end of the straight. And now 2-2 Motorsport, I think, is back into a net 1-2 of the Grand Prix there. Apologies to Lando Norris. Like I said, it was either we make contact to potentially completely ruin his gearbox, or we try and make the move work there as George Russell is going to try and follow me by. It's back down through turn 1 there. Christian Lundgaard really struggling in his Alfa Romeo there, and look how much we gain on all 3 of these cars as we head out through turn 1. Now the real question is, do we try and make a move on our teammate Max Verstappen, or do we just try and work with him and follow the other cars through? I'm worried he won't make the progress that I need to early on here, because let's be fair, we're going to get absolutely swamped by the cars behind us later on in the afternoon. Verstappen there has got so much grip and so much confidence as he tries to close up the gap to Nikita Mazepin, but both of them now closing in on Christian Lundgaard there. I think Verstappen's just going to wait and see how this one pans out as Mazepin tries to make the move work on the young Danish Formula 1 driver there. Is he going to be able to pull it off there? No, Lundgaard looks like he hangs on for now as we've got more cars into the pit lane, including Mazepin. Big snap out of the final corner, but we are now a bit of 5th and 6th then of the Grand Prix, but I just worry.
P6.
I don't think Verstappen's going to be able to make the move as quickly as I need him to. Can we have a look up the inside? No! Oh, a little bit of contact there, I could just tell. By the time you get about halfway through that corner, you know whether the AI are going to turn in, so I had to back out of it right at the last moment there. And now, Verstappen, come on, you can dive Lundgaard from here. I'm sure real-life Max Verstappen would do it. But in the game, no, he's just going to sit back again there, as now we're going to have to try and go around the outside of our teammate here. Really close to even more contact as we head up the hill. Oh, don't get squeezed out over the curve. Verstappen, though, having none of it. And he will still hang on. But I'm sure now he's going to be able to get a run down the back straight on Christian. As Max Verstappen now has sailed past Christian Lundgaard down the back straight. Surely now we can try and follow him by So we head back down towards turn 1. Yes, we can. We don't want George Russell, though, trying to get a look in either. Let's look at this Lundgaard trying to come back at me through the second part. But yeah, now effectively we're 1 and 2 once more in this Chinese Grand Prix, because every other car in front of us... Actually, to be fair, look at that. The Aston Martin and the Ferrari, they've only got to make one more stop as well.
We're going to have to go very easy to recover enough to see the race out.
Jeff are going to be fine on fuel there. Yeah, that Aston Martin of Esteban Ocon and Charles Leclerc, they might actually be in strong contention for this race. As now, we're going to start leaking places again. George Russell to the inside he goes there. And look how fast that Red Bull is down the back straight. We're going to try and force him really defensive. We might even try and look back at the inside. Oh no, I'm in neutral again. Oh no. How often am I going to do that today? And George Russell will just sail back around the outside then. And move back up into net P2. So there we go. Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon into the pits. They're going mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. So yeah, they have got a legitimate sort of 5-10 second lead over Max Verstappen there. This could actually get really close by the end. Oh, Lando Norris. How has he found that much grip? Off the exit the corner there. He's pretty much passed us before we even get into the DRS zone. But again, we're not going to try and make it easy for these other cars. I want to try and help Verstappen as best as possible. But Lando, how late was he able to brake there that time round? We're going to see even more cars into the pit lane though. Including every car in front of us apparently. Didn't think we'd see that.
In the pits. Max in the pits.
So we are therefore going to be in the lead now of the Chinese Grand Prix. But we're going to dive in the end of this one, because these tyres are definitely getting towards the end of their life. While Callum Ilott defending from Sergio Perez has meant we've stored a little bit of wiggle room over the Mexican here, but that's going to be difficult to try and hang on to later on in the afternoon as we head down into the pit lane now. To be super brave on the way in. That's super brave as we try and get the car slowed down as well there. Not a bad way into the lane, but now we're going to see all of these other cars into the pits as well. So look at that, Callum Ilott is legitimately battling with a lot of these guys as well there. But Esteban Ocon still leads the way ahead of Charles Leclerc. And yeah, I mean, Ricciardo in P3. Why are they changing the wing? Why? Codemasters! I haven't even got any wing damage, I didn't think, but a 6.9 means we stay ahead of Perez, so...
No more scheduled pit stops.
I mean, I'm really annoyed by that still, but probably not as annoyed as I should be, because that was a lightning fast stop by the team there. Only about, well, 4 seconds slower than a normal stop is for me on F1 2021, and maybe now we'll have a little bit of extra performance between now and the end, but immediately we need to be on the offensive here to try and work our way past Latifi.
Conservative with your fuel, we may not finish at this rate of usage.
Yeah, I think the moves are getting a little bit out of hand today. There's been a lot of carnage so far in Shanghai, and I'm sure Latifi probably not a fan of that one. Yeah, not my finest, I'll admit, but there's a lot at stake here. Look at this Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the Grand Prix late on in the afternoon. Verstappen goes even faster, but those cars are not slow at the front. This is going to be really difficult. Esteban Ocon might be able to win Aston Martin's second ever race in this career mode. Oh, here we go, more battling going on. Jack Aitken and I want to say Mazepin now heading down the back straight there as Nikita's on a set of hard tyres to try and see him through to the end of the Grand Prix. I think he's just going to be dropping places there as George Russell.
Some information
another
on
fastest lap.
They seem to have an issue.
Oh, Mazepin's actually got issues in that car. It's a shame, I don't really care. We're only 4 tenths away from fastest lap there. Don't think we'll get it today, but would be nice. So we just need to keep trying to put cars between myself and Sergio Perez. I do not want to get up the inside of Mazepin there. I could tell Lundgaard was going to give us the room, but not Nikita. And that Alpine, yeah, is wounded at the moment. Wounded and trying to hang on.
You up a place.
So he's going to go really defensive down in towards the hairpin. He's clearly heard about my antics so far today, and we'll go, okay, we'll have the line instead. Much optimum braking point. And now, P8. Back to where we started after all of this insanity. Right, come on then, Jack Aitken. We actually went purple through the final sector that time round. Oh, to the inside of the Alfa Romeo in towards someone there. That almost got sketchy. I was very worried suddenly. At the very last second there, I thought he's going to turn in on me. But luckily not. We launched it up the inside of Jack. And now up at a P7 then of the Grand Prix. But I'm not sure we're going to be able to get much more out of this one, to be honest. We might be able to get Ricciardo. But yeah, at the moment, I think it's really going to be a case of watching the gaps behind us late on in the day, because Perez losing a lot of time, but he is going to be mighty fast towards the end. There's 7 laps to go, though, of the Grand Prix. To be honest, it might be quite nice just to have a little bit of peace and quiet for once in this GP. We've spent so much time battling so many other cars. Maybe, yeah, it'd be nice to catch our breath a bit, as Esteban Ocon's still leading the way. I genuinely think that Aston Martin's going to win this out of nowhere. Unless, actually, I've just spotted George Russell. He's up at a P3 now. He is going to be fast.
5.1 seconds.
Oh, we got yellow flags out late on in the afternoon. It's one of the Mercedes going slowly as Lance Stroll, the Canadian, out of the Chinese Grand Prix there. So not what he would have wanted late on in the day. Mercedes reliability, there's still a lot of questions surrounding it. To be honest, I think with the race we've had, it's kind of a miracle. That's the first retirement we've had. We could have probably been out about 6 times so far today. But yeah, Lance Stroll, first car out. I've just noticed now at the front, it looks like Charles Leclerc has taken the lead away from the Aston Martin here. However, we're now trying to close in on Daniel Ricciardo and his little trainer cars there. Of course, the McLaren's so fast, doesn't actually need that big of an advantage heading out onto the back straight to be able to hang on there. I saw him going 3 wide a couple of laps ago, but Verstappen desperately wants to try and pull off a move, but he just can't get close enough to the Australian down the back straight there. I don't know what McLaren put in that car. It must be jet fuel, I reckon, because that thing is just stupid down the straights. Always has been, and I'm sure always will be. 3 laps to go then. George Russell all over the back of Esteban Ocon. I'm sure the Frenchman will get a podium either way, but really now it's a case of whether he can help Charles Leclerc try to solidify Ferrari's first race victory since, what, season 5, I want to say, of this career mode? Might have even been season 4. The last time we saw Ferrari on top. Of course, it definitely wasn't last season. It was just us and Red Bull that took all of the spoils. But now we're all over the back of Lando Norris, Verstappen and Ricciardo here with 2.5 laps to go. Where could we gain some more points? That's the question. Oh, George Russell trying to make a move on Esteban Ocon, sorry, at the road there, as we've trying to watch Verstappen pull off a move on his former Red Bull teammate in Daniel Ricciardo. Looks like Russell's done it though up the road, but Verstappen certainly hasn't. So now he's got 2 laps to try and close up to Charles Leclerc. Is it going to be Red Bull? Is it going to be Ferrari who walk away with the race victory here in Shanghai? We're still sitting PBs late on in the afternoon there with a little bit of assistance from the DRS, but 2 laps to go. Could we try and make a move work on any of these cars? Could we try and pick them all off? This thing mighty fast still and on slightly fresher rubber that hasn't been sat in the dirty air of the McLaren for countless laps. We could have a big advantage. Oh, Charles Leclerc there and about to start the final lap of the Grand Prix there, and I think if Russell can get the DRS on him, it's game on. If he can't though, which is not looking like he's going to be close enough yet, Charles Leclerc might be able to put Ferrari back on top in a Formula 1 here, but Ricciardo still trying to hang on from Verstappen, Norris and myself. A big train of cars starting to form up behind the McLaren, and now we're just 1 lap to go. We're going to have to start trying to take big risks here on the last lap here. We've got our former teammate Lando Norris just in front of us. Are we going to be able to find anything in towards someone there? I don't think we've quite got enough grip this time round. It's just going to be a case of Verstappen trying to do something down the back straightaway here. But is Russell going to be able to get close enough to Charles Leclerc? Are we going to be able to get close enough to Lando Norris? Had we not had that wobble there, I might have considered a send down in towards this hairpin, because you can just see we gained so much on all 3 of them. There are a little bit of contact with Lando Norris as the diffuser on that AlphaTauri sparking away as we head up the hill. It's just through these sections of corners we've got nothing against these guys. They can see Verstappen loses that a little bit to the Australian as well. They're sat in the dirty air, but Charles Leclerc, oh, as we get a nice snap oversteer there, that might put pay to anything. Charles Leclerc heading out onto the back straightaway then. It looks like he is going to be able to put Ferrari back on top here in Formula 1. George Russell's first ever race victory is just going to have to wait a few more Grand Prix, but I think it's certainly a matter of when rather than if. But as we head out onto the back straight then, are we going to see Verstappen get close enough to the Australian for one final chance there? Charles Leclerc and Ferrari back on top here in Formula 1 there. It is going to be George Russell P2 there with the Aston Martin of Esteban Ocon getting an unlikely podium. Daniel Ricciardo hangs on to P4. Max Verstappen 5th. Lando Norris 6th. And we end up in P7.
might race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
There'll be many smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take the win here in Shanghai. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Well, my driver of the day has to be Charles Leclerc. He was unstoppable out on the track today, weaving through the competition with ease.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys. Charles Leclerc from 13th on the grid does walk home with the Chinese Grand Prix victory there. And yeah, 16th to 1st, 13th to 1st in the opening two races of the year. Things are certainly wild here in the final season of the My Team Career Mode there. George Russell, P2 to P2. I'm sure he's gutted with that one. Give him, say, one, maybe two more laps, and that would have been his race victory there. Esteban Ocon in P3 ahead of Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. Lando Norris gets AlphaTauri's first points of the year there in 6th with myself 7th, and Sergio Perez down in P8 there. Jack Aitken, Aston Martin. Never would have thought they could have scored points this year, and it might be the only two they get, but still definitely well-deserved there, and I think that's Mick Schumacher's first career points as well in this series. So a lot of firsts in this one today there. Carlos Sainz finishes just outside the top 10, ahead of Giovinazzi there, Lundgaard, Bottas, Tsunoda in his Mercedes. They're down in 15th, they're ahead of Ilott, both Haas cars. Guan Yu Zhou in his home Grand Prix down in 19th, they're ahead of Latifi and Mazepin there, with just Lance Stroll not making it through to the checkered flag there. Means championship-wise, we still sit on top of the pack there, 3 points ahead of George Russell, who's 1 point ahead of Max Verstappen, who's 1 point ahead of Charles Leclerc. So we have got three of Formula One's biggest talents sat right behind us in the championship order there. Esteban Ocon now up to 5th place. They're tied with Yuki Tsunoda. Ricciardo with more points on the board means he's now ahead of Lance Stroll. Lando Norris, like we said, first points for him this year, leapfrogs his way up into 9th place there ahead of Bottas, Gio and Carlos Sainz there, with Perez, Jack Aitken and Mick Schumacher there. 2 races in, already 15 drivers have scored points this year, and that means constructors-wise, it's just Williams and Haas that haven't scored yet. Red Bull still currently sat in P2 there after 2 consistent results for us, meaning we're 27 points clear at the front. Ferrari now up into P3 ahead of Mercedes and McLaren there, with Aston Martin ahead of AlphaTauri and Alpine. And yeah, like we said, just Williams and Haas that have yet to leave the starting blocks after the opening 2 races of the campaign. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon with more F1 2021 content.
None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.